Hello and welcome to a riveting Echo League game between No Hard Felines and Figilator. Two pretty excellent names. What do you think, Will?
I'm personally quite a big fan of No Hard Felines. It really hits me right in the
Is that the
soul.
is that the cat connection or just the pun?
Just the pun, I think it's more clever. Fiji Later, I think, a bit samey, sadly, personally.
Interesting that you say they're a bit samey because they just picked a very meta hero in the Blood Sea. Great against mobile cores. Bit odd to sit first phase though, don't you think?
Yeah, but then again, I feel like if you're that confident in your hero, then why not? Be like, this is our hero, what are you going to do about it?
Where would you like to lane it normally?
Um, I think he works really well in mid because I think he gets a lot from his levels and he's hard to push out of mid. But mid or safe, preferably over offlane.
Where do you think this void that No Hard Felines have just picked will be played?
Um, it's one of these fantastic ones where you can go either mid or off, or even, sorry, off or safe. But I would prefer to have him mid. Safe lane.
Do you think that will be a 4 conquer as well?
Most likely. Have you seen any core kunkers recently?
I know No-Tail did one in Midas League.
Yeah.
Midas,
Yeah, he
that's
did.
slightly different. I quite like the Clockwork ban. As someone who plays a decent amount of Clockwork, I can tell you that hero is Vengeful Spirit, pretty standard, just going for sort of Vengeful Spirit, Bloodseeker, Cheese Strats. Maybe you even see a Tuskleater, which I know is one of your personal favourites.
I do love me some Tusky. You can say even finish it off with a Pudge or something.
It's interesting to see a Disruptor banned out. I would have assumed that Venge is probably going to be run as a 5, but it could be as a 1.
But Disruptor also has synergy with the
Yeah,
Rupture.
I can see the synergy. It's just more that with they've already picked a 5, and I don't think you would ever run a Disruptor as a 4. Just
Agreed.
Ags is pretty incredible, and he can push waves slightly, but his stat gain and that sort of thing is just so poor that actually that hero is a glimpse and a silence, and a good way of dealing with people on lane.
What I'm really impressed with is the versatility. Every single hero they've picked has no set position, and it gives them a really nice amount of openness for the rest of their draft.
Yeah, that's always the recognizable start of a good draft, is when both drafts can kind of go either way. What would you ban out here if you were No Hard Felines? They're just thinking about it a little bit.
Probably some of those, I'd say those annoying roamers, but I think a lot of annoying roamers have already been banned out in your Night Stalker, your Spirit Breaker, and your Ogre.
You mentioned Pudge earlier.
Yeah, just because of the synergy with the Rupture. But
Well, No Hard Felines are just assuming that Venge is either a 4 or a 1 because they're just banning out position 5s at this point.
yeah, they seem to be scared of a big team fight, with the sort of getting rid of a lot of team fight ults.
Of course, if the Void isn't confident in his ability to not Chronosphere, his Warlock and Disruptor are both quite good against the Chronosphere. What with the Fatal Bonds, the Golem, and also just the Disruptor ult, and even the Glimpse. They're both anti-Void heroes as well.
Yeah, for sure. Glimpse is incredibly good against Void. And just or anyone who has any form of escape, just bring them all the way back.
It's actually just one of the best parts of the game, I personally think.
Although oddly, Kunkka is also a counter to Disruptor in the fact that you can X back the Glimpse. So
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they just hate Disruptor. And Witch Doctor Void. Of course, a classic cheese strat being banned out. Can you blame Figilator for being scared of that?
no, I don't think so. I think I've suffered way too many games of Void Witch Doctor to blame someone for letting that one not come through.
Another aspect of the Vengeful Spirit that we actually haven't mentioned yet is just the ability of the Vengeful Spirit to ruin Faceless Void's game. Just with maybe even the Ags Aether Lens, just super long range swaps. Just get the Void out of that Chrono.
It's a really good point because like Void Chronosphere is something that's so hard to deal with, and Vengeful Spirit swap is one of the things. Like how do you kill a core if they just get removed from the Chrono every single time?
CM, is that mostly just to go along with the Void, do you think?
I think Kunkka's really mana dependent early on, and so she's really great at enabling someone, a roamer like Kunkka, to to just sort of do what they need to do without having to worry about spending loads on clarities.
Doesn't she struggle a lot against Bloodseeker and the Venge as well?
She's certainly really frail. But then again, like, a 3-second route on a Bloodseeker is nothing anywhere near insignificant.
No, I think you're right. I think that could do quite a lot. It'll be interesting to see what they'll pick next. Just to see whether they Earthshaker. 4 or 3, or even mid. What do you think?
I'd be surprised if it is mid, but I'm not sure. As somebody who plays a decent amount of Earthshaker, with his recent nerfs to like Echo Slam and the change to his talents, do you think he's a better roamer or offlaner as opposed to the last patch?
I haven't offlaned him since the changes, but I have roamed him, and his Echo Slam feels like it does considerably more damage late game now.
Oh really?
Well, yeah, well, it's because it does more. It does more echoes, but no initial damage. So when you're using it early game just to keep someone stun locked and just murder someone in lane, it's not quite as good.
But like he lost that the 10 strength level 10 talent, which I thought was.
I think that kills the offlane as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the nail in the coffin.
I think that was what. Yeah. Queen of Pain's one of those sort of lane dominants. They got pretty strong lanes at the moment.
She can also blink escape the Bloodseeker if she steps, can't she?
Yeah.
For people who are listening who might not know, Rupture doesn't apply if someone travels 1,300 units to step, which is the exact range of Queen of Pain's blink. So if she steps instantly, then she dodges all the Rupture damage. Do you like Necro still after all the nerfs?
I think he was slightly over nerfed personally, but I still think he's very playable. I'm interested to see once again whether this is mid or safe. I still don't really know anywhere certainly for Fiji later. I have no idea where they're putting their cores at the moment.
I personally think Fiji later are probably looking for an off, unless their offlaner is a natural Earthshaker player, which he might be, because I think the hero is still okay in the offlane, but I think it's better as a roamer. And for No Hard Felines, probably an offlaner. I'd assume that Void is probably farming safe. It's kind of been the trend, sort of Battle Fury, Massacre Madness, safe lane Void.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Void will probably certainly. I think he's likely to safe lane. I think the Quap is likely to be mid lane. But I think you can put a Necro. I personally wouldn't have thought Necro is a great matchup against Queen of Pain with Queen of Pain's high damage. And
interestingly, looking at the off lanes that No Hard Felines banned, they banned Brew, Beast, and Clock. All 3 of those, I know from personal experience, ruin Faceless Void. Clock can just bounce him off cogs in the laning stage until the Void is out of mana, and at that point, the Void can just be killed by him. Brewmaster destroys any melee core, and Beastmaster is just super good in the meta and can also pin the Void down for long enough so that he can't get that time walk off to walk back the entire damage. So I don't know. I think it will probably be a safe lane. What do you think of the CK ban?
I wouldn't have thought Void's atrocious against him, but maybe they think, they picked the Chaos Knight, that they picked Earthshaker, and Earthshaker's really good against Chaos Knight, and so they send themselves up for the pick. But I think Chaos Knight is just a really good hero at the moment, personally.
They've got an awful lot of AoE clearance on No Hard Felines, though, don't they?
They do. They certainly do. Every one of them will have AoE if Void gets a Battle Fury.
Anti-mage, so they think this is an off-lane Void.
Ooh.
Medusa is a dangerous hero at the moment. So is that an off-lane Necro, do we assume? Or...
I think that is an off-lane Necro, and I think that's interesting.
I think that's very brave, I think is the right word, against a Crystal Maiden to put a Necro in the off-lane. I think he could just be killed.
But then again, if you play aggressive on the Void, wouldn't Void tend to struggle against a ranged offlane? And his Necro's harass is very slow and over time, and you can't time walk that back.
That is an excellent point. You need levels for Heartstoppers to actually start doing that much damage.
True.
And I think if you're stuck into your tower with a Crystal Maiden there, and then Kunkka just off the map, I think that's going to be really hard for you.
I
the
think
Medusa is an incredible pick.
I think that if they want to put this Necro in the offlane, they've got to give him some support because Bloodseeker's quite self-sufficient.
Weaver, a hero that you personally enjoy to play. Why do you think they picked the Weaver?
I think that means I don't think the Weaver's gonna offlane. I'm less of a fan of offlane Weaver.
Could it be an offlane Queen of Pain?
And a mid Voider. I don't know the teams well enough to know who plays where.
They might try to give the Weaver a 1v1 matchup versus the Necro, which I think the Weaver probably wins quite convincingly. I think No Hard Felines definitely win the cosmetics competition. Right?
They certainly look snazzy, don't they?
Who do you think is going to win from the draft, though? Who do you fancy?
I think if Fiji later get this sort of first 15-20 minutes to go how they want, I think that's a really hard team to deal with.
I'm actually really impressed with Vigilator's draft. I think it's got early game, it's got late game.
But But when I think about it, what do they have to deal with this Weaver? They've got this incredibly elusive hero, and they have a magic missile stun from Venge and Earthshaker. Seem to be lagging out, my friend.
Struggle. Yeah, Tango. We have Parapox on the Weaver, who looks like he's going to safe lane. We've got Speak on the Kunkka, who looks like he's playing with because Crystal Maiden has no gold. Low Life playing that Void. All of the wards and all the other career, so it's very poor.
You lagged out for quite a lot of that, and so I missed a lot of you talking about. Oh,
so I haven't played it for a long time. I've been thinking about playing it. Struggle quite a lot. How important is this D ward, Will?
it's yeah, no, it's great. The golden experience going on to the Bloodseeker. Plus, that means the Void's got no safety there.
Do you think they could solo this Bloodseeker versus the Void? Do you think that would be okay?
Yeah. I think Bloodseeker's got so much regen that he'll be okay.
Interestingly, no one has got the offlane rune for Dire. It's just sitting there. How long do you think? Hello?
Sorry, I'm losing you a little. Is this a support Bloodseeker?
Maybe just the power of the Blood Rage, perhaps, and an offlane Earthshaker.
Yeah, the Bloodseeker's not in a core position at the moment.
Have you noticed how no one's picked up the bounty room bottom yet?
No, I hadn't actually.
It's kind of incredible. I did mention it during the technical difficulties we were experiencing. Who do you think wins this mid matchup then?
See, I like to play quite a lot of Necro, and I would be scared of someone like Plot because to win a lane as Necro, you need last hits. If you get last hits, you have a ton of regen. But Quap does last hits so well.
I think to say the Necro is struggling would be very. It's 6-4 versus 2-1.
He is really having a hard time. Oh.
Both of us missed first blood. I'm not sure about the Suffering Shaker. I didn't see how he died, and I'm even less sure about his skill build. I'm not sure why you'd go enchant to move his ability. Second ability point is a very awkward point for Earthshaker, because if he gets enchant totem, it's not very good. It doesn't offer much without that aftershock. But if he gets aftershock, for that to do anything, he has to fish a ball right next to someone. So I'm not sure. I think level 2 is really rough for Earthshaker.
Void also not having a nice time on the top lane. He's getting gun on.
He's used Time Warp. A lot of trouble. I think he might just die. 42p. No cancels. Smart play from the Void.
Yeah. Nothing
Being
there.
sent home though. I think this is the real weakness of Void. He could have probably TP'd to the tower.
Oh, there might be a kill in mid. Oh.
Ooh, both low. Any salves coming? Yes. So Necro will now have a slight advantage for a while because, of course, Queen of Pain is going to still be on the health without that salve, and that Necro is salving up. And of course, the Bloodseeker is going to be moving very quickly while the Queen of Pain is that low.
So I genuinely think this is a pos for Bloodseeker. Have you seen this before? Other than a jungle Bloodseeker, you know?
That's what I was gonna say. No, I haven't. I've seen jungle. This Earthshaker is struggling. I think he's understanding.
He's
why.
not got a single last hit or deny.
Yeah. They've just given up that lane to let the Venge get, which I think is a good idea. I just don't see this lane getting any better though. So just hopping back over to mid. Queen of Pain finally got that cell back. Do you think that's a bit late?
I think ideally you want to be ferrying out your salve immediately to try and get so you can immediately start taking positive trades.
If you watched people like Miracle play mid or very high skill players, they tend to get that salve ferried out to them almost instantly.
Yeah.
And it looks like Necro is just dead. They didn't expect damage. And then got jumped. Do you think that extra mana from the CM is helping the Quack in this lane?
Yeah, and she's gonna finish up the second now to make her hit even harder before going into the bottle as well.
How is that Earthshaker doing?
Well, Venge's got a haste read in mid.
Yeah. Might run Quap down. No stun. Oh no, probably not. The Kunker's there as well, just to help.
Oh.
It's interesting to see a position 4 Venge, or position 5 even. I keep forgetting we've got this.
Yeah, this Bloodseeker's a real
ace in the pack. Who knows what will happen. It's an unusual draft. Do you think it can work?
It suddenly annoys the Weaver, doesn't it? I hadn't thought about that. The Rupture on Weaver, that will keep Weaver locked down. We talked about the struggle of the last hits. He does. Moonquake does actually have more last hits than his opponent in mid at the moment.
Still considerably down on the denies though, and as you can see in the levels, with level 6. They've got enough damage here?
I think he's just going to walk it off. Oh
The second he said he's going to walk it off. I think this Bloodseeker just becoming considerably less effective. Without the agenda, but unless he gets those last hits, he's not going to get any health back. So, I don't know. It's hard to say what this Bloodseeker is going to do, because it's so unusual. Of course,
yeah,
Medusa.
I'm excited to see it though.
Oh yeah, maybe we need to play position 4 Venge in our next Echo League game. Bloodseeker, sorry. It's of course this Medusa, top of the last hits, as you'd expect. What would you expect this Medusa to go next?
I think she's finished her Achilles, finished phase boots, gets into Mom, hopefully gets some stacks for her around the map, and then she just farms.
Is incredibly dead bottom. Or not. Crystal Maiden just dying to the tower. That was less than ideal. Of course, Crystal Maiden, not the best hero to just be tanking those tower hits.
Oh, Fissure was incredible. Caught all three of them.
It was an incredible Fissure. Probably a life-saving Fissure.
Yeah, for sure.
He's still struggling, but there is a way back in the jungle. Earthshaker does at least jungle quickly. Is he dead now?
No.
Yeah. So Weaver at 6. You're a Weaver player. Does Weaver just dive towers the second he hits 6?
Depends how much damage you got and how much kill potential, but yeah, you're certainly able to, knowing you can always use that escape if you need.
What do you think this Medusa will be building next?
So I think she gets the wand and then she hits the jungle and farms as fast as she can with that new split shot.
It seems pretty incredible, honestly, that new split shot.
Certainly, it's changed the hero quite significantly.
Just looking over at mid, Moonquake manning up against Piston, getting very low, but of course that Ghost Shroud heal is very, very effective. It's quite a close matchup in mid. Moon leading on the last hits, but Piston leading on the denies, which is why there is a slight disparity in the levels. Correct that, huge level of disparity. Queen of Pain nearly level 8, and Necro only about 2/3 the way through level 6.
They've almost got this bot tower down here.
It's very impressive. It should be deniable now, though, right?
What's it?
Definitely now. Nice deny. Good stuff. Totem, of course, very, very good for denying towers. What do you think about this Earthshaker just going straight blink?
I'm not of a fan of it. I think usually I think it's best to go for a Soul Ring to help you be more survivable and farm better.
Gives you a lot of strength as well, which is of course extra useful on Earthshaker due to that enchant totem.
Mm.
This Bloodseeker has a huge stash. He's going for Rod of Atos. What do you think of Rod of Atos on Bloodseeker?
It certainly sets up a nice Bloodright. Bloodright's it's not an insignificant amount of damage. 240 pure in an AoE. It's quite a lot.
That is an awful lot, and the silence is very, very long.
Yeah, is it 6?
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 seconds that's an incredible silence. Just looking at the mid lane where it's the last hit lead for Moon is becoming more and more significant, but that level disparity is still there, although it has lessened off slightly. Just looking at bot lane where Bloodseeker's running in, Kunkka with the X marked, but I think everyone should probably walk up this fine. Kunkka trying for the TP. Any Fisher? Nope, but no. We've precise to get the kill, and then Heartstoppers just finishes him off. Weaver still with time lapse. Weaver probably gonna be alright here.
Should be. Should just be able to walk away.
It's silenced, but due to that low level in it, it's only level 1, so that's not a very.
Got a smoke on top lane.
Medusa, not very much mana. Medusa was.
He's out of mana for the chrono. Oh.
Do you feel like that chrono was necessary?
Why not? It's a position 1 Medusa. She's super farmed. You may as well put it on cooldown and secure the kill.
This Void is leveling incredibly well.
Yeah, he's had a much nicer time than the Earthshaker.
This Void is actually ahead on XP when looking at compared to Moon's Necro in the mid lane, which is insane for an offlaner to be ahead of a mid laner in terms of XP.
Hey, he's done a good job up here. They've not really. There's an issue with the Bloodseeker, I'd say, is that unless you can reliably land that, you're not gonna be able to stop the Void from just getting away.
Mana Snake does insane damage. Of course, Void can just walk it off, but that does mean that he's just burning more mana.
That's the great thing about CM though. It's much less of a problem when you've got CM on your team.
What do you think this Weaver should build? What? Bloodseeker in trouble, being right clicked down. He does it for that rupture. I don't think there'll be anything he can do with it. That bug on him just providing vision. And Bloodseeker goes down. Do you think Dragon Lance is the right choice for the Weaver?
Survivability, bit more attack range. It's all stats you want. You want to be quite tanky. I wondered if he was going to finish up the Lincoln straight away. I actually prefer not getting first item Lincolns on a carry Weaver. You want to have a little bit more than that in terms of offensive ability.
Because you do have that huge power spike around this time, where you've got time lapse, which is such an incredible skill, and you can just dive towers and geminate attack people and bug for vision. It does seem pretty incredible, just to be rushing Lincolns during that time.
the new level 10 that gives him mana break and turn is also really nice. Oh, Bloodseeker's in the mid lane. I was looking for a rupture.
I feel like if this Bloodseeker can't be going for kills, he should definitely. And he does have Rupture up, so he can look for kills, but they haven't really made it work.
Maybe, they do have a smoke. Looks like they may be smoking. Just brought it into his inventory.
Who do you think they'll be looking for?
I think the co-op's got to be a high priority, although they are also smoked.
It is worth noting that Venge doesn't have that 6 yet.
Right in the mid lane.
Huge bow, X marks, and maybe... No, the Necro is probably just going to go. Huge turnaround of the Reaper Siphon. The Crystal Lady is going to Rupture on the Queen of Pain, and she doesn't walk it off. So if it wasn't for the Ghost Ship buff, she probably would have been low enough for them to see her with that Thirst. But the Rupture has now expired. What do you think of this Veil on Queen of Pain?
It's certainly good stats and great early game fighting item for sure. It's just you need to ferry out the CM helps here as well, because I think without it you really struggle for mana.
The change to clarity, change to how mana regen works is probably better as well, because that Veil, of course, buffing up your clarities to regen more. It is good to use Veil though.
Number action in the mid lane.
CMO. Necro's so low, What does Chronosphere? Is he just going to Chronosphere the Medusa? He doesn't have the mana for her ultimate. Medusa just finishing off that Mask of Bandits. Do you agree with that item choice?
Yeah, for sure. It's so good at the moment.
Just looking at bot lane where that Weaver is pressuring that tower. I think that's one of the huge advantages of being such a versatile hero. Such a slippery hero that's not really thought of. Rather than just being able to survive ganks, you can actually just go places that other heroes can't.
100%.
If for example, if the Kunkka was there pressuring that tower, that's a dead captain. But seeing as you have the Weaver, he can just scuttle off to safety. He's got the no boots build. What do you think of that?
If there's anyone you can get away with, it's Weaver. But you can pick up boots, you can not pick up boots. It depends how much money you've got to spend on Shikuchi.
I think the really important thing is that you manage your mana pool, so manage your cooldowns well, so you don't run in and then hit, so your Sakuchi's on cooldown for 5 or 6 seconds, and you're moving really slowly, because at that point you're just dead.
There's a lot of people here in the bot lane.
Rupture's huge cast time, causing real problems for Bloodseeker there.
Another smoke for No Hard Felines.
Running mid, can we get the Necro?
I think they've got they dropped the Chrono on the Medusa.
Oh yes, sorry.
Just Void and CM taking them down.
What do you think this Void should build?
I think a Blink Dagger's great with the team he's got. He's just queued up a Diff Blade, which is by no means bad. But I'd say a Lincoln's or a Blink Dagger, maybe a Vlad's, anything like that's gonna...
That Diff Blade is huge against the Medusa. That does
massively... You are right, it's not something I'd instantly thought about. Like, burning her mana, it does... it's like dealing twice as much damage to her.
Looking at the net worth figures, this Weaver is huge. It's nearly 2,000 gold in front of the second hero, which is power on that Medusa.
It really is.
That is a huge lead to have. Do you think that's mostly just because this Earthshaker has been fairly ineffective in contesting its farm?
I think it's always going to be a hard lane, but look at if you look at the difference between the Void's net worth and the Earthshaker's net worth, the difference between Void and Earthshaker and Medusa and Weaver is the difference between these two teams at the moment.
Yeah, there's a 4k lead coming up for No Hard. And I think that's mostly just because of how their safe lanes have gone. Mid lane, there's heroes. There is 1,000 difference, but you tend to gain a bit of a lead when your team is taking towers and doing positive actions due to you winning your safe lane.
Missed a kill on the Void. Rupture was used and Reaper's Scythe, so...
And I missed another kill on the No Black, that hard 5 Venge. It's as you can see, only 218 gold for the CM. Of course, everyone in the area gets some gold, but it's not a huge lead, not a huge difference in net worth. One hero going down like that, and if one hero has to go down, you'd rather it as that position 5 Venge. looking for a kill bot lane. Ooh, Weaver just
Just
scuttles
gonna-
away.
Yeah, scuffle is
Earthshaker
the right
has his
word.
blink now.
Does he? And they've
It's-
not
it's-
seen it.
It's fairly late, even if you had gone banner boots. Which shows kind of how much this Earthshaker is struggling really.
Bloodseeker's just hanging in this top lane. I don't know if he's waiting to leave or they want to try and make a play up here by this tier 1 tower.
This Weaver's minus 20 mana break is destroying the Medusa bot lane. Its mana instantly disappears as soon as the
I
Weaver hits.
also hadn't think about it. He's queued up another diff blade. He's got his Lincolns finished already.
That Weaver is huge, sitting at nearly 9,000 net worth, while the Medusa is still 2,000 behind, but that's going to be a problem, right? Medusa needs to kind of play from a point where it's kind of ahead. So,
They are
unless it comes-
grouped in this jungle. Are they looking for a smoke? Bloodseeker does have one.
they are smoked. They are standing right on top of a ward.
Oh, they are. Yeah, so they should know.
Yes, for sure, and it's pinged, and you'll see that reaction with the Weaver running right under his tower.
They're
And even-
trying to go up top. They could catch the void.
He's nearly got his. He's just finished his diff blade. He'll come up to him in a second.
It's a blink reveal.
That's a dead void. Not sure if the Echo Slam was worth it, especially when you've just hit level 12. That level 12 Echo Slam with the Blink Dagger is when you're playing Earthshaker. That's the timing you want to hit. So with the you want max Aftershock and the second level Echo Slam, and at that point you're ready to rumble, as Earthshaker would say. Just looking at bot lane where Weaver gets a tower. Just this lead is spiraling rapidly out of control.
Yeah,
Weaver now at 10%.
Harry Box has had quite the game so far. He's having a whale of a time.
Yeah, he's huge on Sweep, and I think that mostly comes because the offlane wasn't able to contest, and his team created so much space for him just to run around, do bug things. The Kunka going for a Spirit Vessel. Why do you think the Kunka would be going for that this game?
Because this new Spirit Vessel, I think it reduces health regen by like 70% or 60%, something like that. It
That's
reduces
about right.
health regen, and when Necrophos gets a kill or a last hit, he gets a ton of health regen, and it can really just completely ruin the hero. They're TPing in to try and catch Weaver.
Weaver.
Oh, he's put the Lincolns.
Yeah, this Weaver could be in a huge amount of trouble.
He's got the
Sentry
sentry
down.
too!
Oh,
And the scythe!
that was a 1,200 gold net worth swing.
Jeez.
I think you can use all your ultimate. It's huge. I wonder what they put the Lincolns with.
Bloodseeker popped it with his Blood Rage. He did it really quickly as well. They're smoked up top lane. That's one thing I've really liked from No Hard Felines. They have done tons of smokes this game.
And smokes with a purpose, sort of thing. They're not just
Yeah,
aimless
for
smokes.
sure.
This Medusa has TP'd into a lot of trouble. They're going to come up behind.
Got the Proto.
Maybe she should. Oh, X-Marks. Just dead anyway.
Cancels TP.
Medusa is struggling, I think, at this point. It is second in the network, but third now. But you do want to be in front of that Medusa. You want to hit this power spike where for the next 10 minutes you kind of snowball out of control, and then before the enemy team knows it, you're out of the jungle. You've got a butterfly, you've got a Skadi, and there's nothing they can do about you. But I don't think he's going to hit that time in this game. Who do you think would win this game if it went really late?
Yeah, I think this Bloodseeker becomes like a fourth core, surely. And then they've got... And things like Vengeful Spirits Aura scales really well into the late game. So I think they can. They got a lot of late game.
Chronosphere is also one of the best late game abilities.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you think of any reason why Faceless Void just used its diffusion on a creep?
Why not?
Just making sure its cooldowns, its actives are working, testing it.
Maybe to try and kite it slightly more while farming. That's the only thing I've got. honestly.
Do you think the Void should have built a Mask of Madness just to kind of boost his farming speed?
Do you think he needs it?
I think it is a huge increase.
It certainly helps him farm, but why not have these items that are gonna help them fight? They're on top. I don't think they need to be farming if they're winning fights. They're taking map control.
He just did it again. Who knows? But you just saw him use that shrine, and he probably would have been able to kill that ancient madness because he'd have been on significantly more life because the lifesteal is very
potentially. They've scouted out this Medusa here in the bot lane, but
and they've scouted out that ward, so that ward should be fairly quickly dewarded, I'd imagine.
Speak was on the Kunkka, was just watching and her do the ancients, and was just like, "Hi, it's nice ancient you're farming. I'm just gonna soak some of your XP."
He does have that spirit vessel finish, and of course, I think probably the main use of that, the death pulse on the Necro, when he Ghost Shrouds, pops his death pulse, he's just not going to get anywhere near as much.
Yeah.
And actually has even more of effect than it normally would against a normal hero, just because normally that healing is increased a lot by 75%. That extra 75% healing will also be reduced, so actually it kind of removes the entire purpose of Ghost Shroud, which seems quite effective just for a 3,000 gold item. Weaver just farming up the ancients. Now, almost at 12,000 gold, this Weaver is huge. Do you think that Desolator is the right item choice?
It's a great item for when you're ahead. Like, that Venge is going to be mincemeat.
I mean, even potentially the towers.
Yes, yeah.
The towers could be in real problems, because before you know it, that bug is just destroying your barracks if you're not careful.
See, the Void now has a Shadow Blade queued up, and I really like this, because he's all about that initiation. If he gets the perfect initiation, he can win the team fight and possibly, open up a set of racks. Like you said, they got good pushing power. It gives them options, or possibly the Deso opens up the option to do Roche.
Yes, of course, which I don't think either teams have really thought about yet. But do you think No Hard Felines could do it at this point?
As soon as that Deso is completed, I don't think they got a Solar Crest because he just went straight for the Spirit Vessel.
Actually, neither team has a medallion or
they've
a
got
Solar
Wave
Crest
Tower or something.
Venture Spirit is building a medallion. Doesn't have it. Ooh, Roche into fight, smoke into smoke. Fight Vicky on the Roche pit. The Earthshaker is silenced. I think they just need to try to get out of this fight alive. That Spirit Vessel down on the Blood Secret. Even Venture Spirit on the Black Guys. The Blood Secret will go down. Venture Spirit being killed by the Weaver. Weaver just ignoring this Medusa. Medusa like popped, but probably too late. Oh, places boys will die. No, amazing glimmer. Oh, buyback into wasted Echo Slam. This is looking incredible. Great Chronosphere. Huge combination. Possibly Roshan or Elena Rax at this point for No Hard Felines?
They've got one more in mind. One to make it the full team.
That's a huge fight.
Okay,
5,000 gold net worth swing. Weaver looking giant. Doesn't even have that Desolator yet. And now they look like they might be heading towards Roche. Or not. Why do you think that fight went so wrong, the Dire? What happened?
The Earthshaker blinked in, didn't want to immediately Echo Slam, and then the Quap instantly orchided him, and he couldn't cast any spells. And from there he was dead. I think that was a really awful start for Fiji later.
And then the buyback into just a kind of an Echo Slam that didn't really achieve that much.
I think he went to blink, and I think he got caught by one of the swarm bugs, actually.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. This net worth lead is very, very large now.
Yeah, it's skyrocketing.
It's a hard situation for Fiji later, because normally when you see these incredible comebacks when a team is 10k net worth behind or something, it comes in the face of like a huge team fight where they get RP or Ravage or something. Very aggressively, huge Kunker Bow landing on the Earthshaker going down once again. Staring that one down. With the side getting the kill on that Grid of Pain. Weaver just tearing up the back guys. Medusa in quite a lot of trouble. Weaver has just time lapse, cannot go physical again. Weaver's just dead. and then the swap.
Saved him for the torrent in the end, actually. I'll give him that. That's huge.
I think, honestly, No Hard Felines I think they just played that all wrong. They kind of just stood there fighting the Medusa. And even if the Medusa is like 3,000 gold behind your Weaver, you have to respect this is a Medusa. Just standing there and fighting Medusa, hoping you can kill it before Stone Gaze, that's not going to work.
I didn't catch the initiation there. How did that fight start?
They just kind of ran into each other. And the Earthshaker died fairly early again without getting it. And the Weaver was running around trying to just get kills in the back lines. But the problem is that the Queen of Pain got caught. It got caught with Blood Rage and Fissure. So it was kind of stun locked and had almost life done. The Kunka managed to land a huge bow.
I saw the scythe come down and Quap was just eliminated.
Do you think this Quap might need a Lincoln's?
I think it's a really good game for this. You got Scythe, you got Rupture, two things that Lincolns are really annoying to play against for those. Why not?
Although we have seen how good the Kunka is, the Bloodseeker is at popping that.
Hey, he's got a completed rod now, if he didn't before. But it was what, 15k the net worth, and now it's down to 10k. Considerable.
Yeah. Just looking at the net worth graph, there's a significant little dip. What do you think of this talent choice at level 20 for the Weaver? Which one do you prefer personally?
I think they're both poor. But in other news, there's another smoke from No Hard Felines.
Just wrap on Roche. This incredible new team has attempted to go for this Roche. Do you reckon that's because they don't feel safe, or?
I think they want to take a team fight and then do it. They found the Medusa.
Nickers pops, side, gets her off. Huge swap.
Oh, the swap!
The swap was incredible. Medusa still swap in vain as Medusa gets close to anyway. Ekis has a first shake on Queen of Pain getting low. She's got to take us out, but she gets cybered to. Ooh, the after damage just about to take the win. This Necro is pretty huge, but now he looks like he's in real trouble. He still has that 4 staff. He's going to try and do it. That's incredible. That was only a 1,800 net worth game because they're that far ahead, gaining much gold by winning that team fight fairly convincingly.
Well, that Deso is completed. They've got no Juicer for 40, no Necro for 50. How do you defend this?
I think you don't. It's likely. It's interesting that the Queen of Pain hasn't gone for a single. There's 2 fights in a row where we've seen the Queen of Pain just get eliminated almost instantly. And if she'd gone like a BKB, I personally feel that maybe she would have survived some of those fights. But hindsight is 2020, of course. So looking at the mid lane, we will get the tier 3. It's very hard for Fuji to defend. They of course feel better at the beginning rather than later. Very much struggling. Root on the void. He gets out. It's huge problem. Radiant have just left.
It's the good old boat and run.
Yeah. The Surshake are going for 4 staff. Do you think that's the right item to go for?
Why not force some key calls who have been ruptured around? I thought extra mobility is never going to be a bad idea. I would like to see those boots upgraded at some point though into even just trains.
Yeah, because they do give you that extra movement speed and reach, which is quite substantive. Vent has now finished that medallion, so if they want to go for sort of a Hail Mary last ditch effort for the Roche Pit, they can. But I'm not sure if they will. Haystream up top, Void just guarding it before taking it.
They have a Necro though, so they don't have a ton of physical damage, is the issue. They're solely reliant on this Medusa.
Yeah, although if Medusa goes down on the Weaver, we're in a lot of trouble. Gets dusted.
Oh!
Weaver just destroying the Earthshaker and that Weaver is dead for 112 seconds, which is... that's what happens when you play against Necro.
I think Parrypox saw the Lincolns get popped by what I presume was the Blood Rage and immediately went to time-lapse, but the Rupture came out and so just time-lapsed himself onto a ton of Rupture damage, leaving him at half health and trapped, and they just tracked him down and threw a scythe on him. That was a huge kill.
Of course, he did just kill the Earthshaker, a hero with very little.
Yeah, he did.
The Decade.
Does so much damage.
What do you think of the medallion build on a Weaver into a Solar Crest? Just, do you think that's more of a offlane Weaver or safe lane Weaver? Just in terms of, so, as an offlane Weaver, would you be more likely to get it than a safe lane Weaver? What sort of scenarios would you get it?
I think the offlane Weaver, I think, is more reliant on a Lincoln's than because you're not going to get as much farm. You need that regen more. I like the Solar Crest because it's cheap and it gives you mana regen and armor, and it gives you a ton of armor reduction when you put it on people. So it gives you survivability and as well as damage output, but it depends really what you're looking for. I think Weaver's item build has been absolute hell to deal with so far. As you can see, they had surrounded with 4, was it? Everyone but the Medusa. You still managed to kill one.
The Medusa that you just mentioned has of course finished the Asgardian, which is the advantage is that you can now just disassemble it to get that cheaper butterfly, which is quite nice. And the Earthshaker manages to snag it. The Earthshaker is nearly 1,000 gold behind the CM, which is quite a lot actually, and I'm very impressed that the CM has been able to gain that network.
I think it's like because they've taken all outer towers, a tier 3 and a Ceterax, and that's given their team so much gold. And she's got a 90 GPM at 15. So
Crystal Radiant, of course, famous for having most no physical damage, but is building a Solar Crest. That's just for the Roche, or a bit of self protection.
I'm such a fan of Solar Crest. I think it's almost never bad unless you're playing against a team, that's entirely magic damage, which this team obviously isn't. But it's good to. She has poor armor. Tranks don't give armor anymore. I think it helps. They did smoke and they've caught the Kunkka, but nothing comes.
Shiva's Guard coming out for that Queen of Pain. What Queen of Pain's talent?
I think she went for the Shivas because the attack speed slows nice, but it also synergizes really well with that spell lifesteal talent.
Yeah, it is good. Although, I kind of like the Shadow Strike talent. Really played co-op since the change. I've seen a few games you can just use the Shadow Strike just on an entire creep wave. Just late game, just pushing, and you push out an entire creep wave with the Shadow Strike.
Do you think co-op struggles with creep wave pushing though?
I think having... So the problem is, Scream of Pain, you have to be very close to the creep wave. Against a Bloodseed, you don't want to be there, because if you get ruptured, you're probably dead. You only have 1,480 life, and you can, if you get it, absolute damage. But honestly, I think the ability to just stand really far back and just kill the whole creep wave, I think is probably quite useful.
I've never seen it taken, I'll be honest. I like the spell lifesteal, and I think you can always go for a Mjolnir or just a plain Maelstrom to farm a bit from range, and also during fights the Maelstrom bounces gives you health. But I think I like the idea of it. The AoE, I've just never actually seen it in action.
I saw it a while ago, quite a high level game, and I don't think it's probably normal. I just think it's something to consider. Shrine going down, of course, not the most important shrine. That, of course, is the shrine, and that the importance of that shrine really is that you can TP to it and then go and contest or take Roche. So it's good to get a shrine because it gives you more gold, but not quite enough. And this dire top tower is being very heavily pressured, and we'll go back.
That's one of the things that I really like about the change in the recent patch, is how they changed the talents so that all of the good talents are then often put with other good talents. It makes it really hard to choose sometimes between, because you just really want both.
Something interesting about that Queen of Pain talent, it's worth noting that 30% spell life steal figure is a little bit deceptive, because that is not the same figure for creeps and heroes. It's only actually 6% for creeps, which it's still quite a lot. And if you get a
is that more than Nocturne? I thought Octrane's 20 something.
25 and 5, and this is 30 and 6. So it follows the same ratio of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, of course, a huge sonic wave and a will just regen you straight up to full. But
He pops the
it's pretty
smoke.
pain. It doesn't have much life.
Speed.
Huge boat, nice close hit. Distance just left, just to get Sarah off. Would go down. Just perma being bashed. Void's dead. Just we could time that. Should probably be okay. Buy back to the 160, but I'm not really sure what he's doing. So just trying to fight that. Dead. He does have buyback, but that's probably enough later ranks. Or Roshan, which everyone has still ignored.
Yeah, there's just been so much fighting. This game's been hectic.
It has 42 kills at 38 minutes. Huge 20k net worth lead. Although interestingly, this Medusa is very farmed compared to the rest of our heroes. Only 1,000 gold behind that Weaver, which is probably the closest she's been to the Weaver since about 15 years. But is that enough when the rest of the team just die? The Surf Shaker has the net worth, that less net worth than the rest of the team. It does have that 90 gold per minute talent, but I don't know. I feel like the Medusa will struggle when the rest of the team just die around her.
They do actually end up going for Roshan.
Yes,
Putting on Parapox.
Do you think that's the right hero to put it on?
I think if they get the necessary lockdown onto Weaver, can definitely die with surprising ease. But also, why not just siege with the Weaver? I don't really have anyone else who's going to stand there and hit towers.
What do you think of the new MKB?
Really favours heroes with high attack speed with the pure damage nuke. It also, I think what's more interesting is the change to Javelin, that picking up a casual Javelin on some heroes, like
Pangolier quite often.
Or Wind Ranger.
Yeah.
Also very interesting. Her ult does so much damage with a casual Javelin. Have you seen that Parapox is level 25 and has the +1 Germinate attack now?
I actually haven't seen that ever at all.
Think about it, like this weave is so scary. Germinate attack doing 1 extra. You got the MKB for procs. You've got the mana break talent. You got the diff blade. That's terrifying.
That is so much. It's 70 mana reduction, mana break a hit. That's 210 mana. I mean, 3 hits being broken, and of course, considerably more. Sorry, if she's hitting that Medusa.
Yeah.
Who is not 25 yet, but not far off. Just having a look. That Void building in Mjolnir, you like that?
I almost would go for an Ags, I think. Just chrono
Just
people on cooldown pick off, they got buybacks down. Every pick off's going to turn into something good at this stage.
What do you think of the level 25s on that face? Which one do you think's better?
25% backtrack gives me nightmares compared to old Void.
I just want him to have the status buff, which is the old icon.
Yes, yeah.
That backtrack used to be horrendous. Backtracking Laguna Blade or something.
I once played Lena back when I just did Blink Heals, and I Blink Heals, Stun, Dragon Slave and ulted, and you backtracked all 3. Never more triggered by something in Dota. That was...
Just abandon.
Yeah.
I've got Radiant coming in for using the high ground now. They do have one lane which makes Siege considerably easier. They do still have to look up for the echo stack, but Sushi could be very sad. Huge growth spare though, just swap though, both Shake wait for the to come back down. Just gets him. Parapox Aegis is popping. The juice is still very high with that good opinion. I think this is just the same scenario again where the Medusa is just left by herself and just died because the rest of my team were just dead. Yeah,
And
don't have the
they've all brought back it. Well, the
Do you think this could be GG?
I don't know what they do. Their Necro's brought back. I think the Bloodseeker brought back. And let's have a look. Buyback status. Yeah, Necro and Bloodseeker and Venge brought back into that fight, and they're all gone. It's suddenly Megas.
And there it
they
is.
called
GG's
Yeah.
cool.
Whoa. That was some performance.
That is. I think MVP has to be the Weaver. Everyone played well.
Yeah, that was really well played. They just couldn't deal with the Weaver.
I was hugely impressed with the Void's ability to just get a in the offlane, because I know that sometimes weakness is that suddenly if the Void has a similar performance to the Surf Shaker, that's a real problem. It's not very useful at that point.
Yeah. And,
Awesome.
but they also just their moves, their smoke ganks, and their synergy. I thought in general, fighting in their team fights, they did it really well.
I was very impressed. Well, thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll hear from you again soon. Bye bye.